Hello, guys. We are the Three Igniters,
Yes!
and I am here to ignite you into taking action on changing your life, changing, exploring what is it that needs to be better in you and for you.
And I'm here to ignite your relationship with food and how you look at the sensual pleasure in all of life that's around you.
And I'm here to ignite the leader that lives within you, your leader self, and to help you to connect with yourself and your loved ones.
So let's talk about surrendering. What is that for you?
Sure, let's.
Oh, yes, surrendering.
To myself or to others? No. Or to the universe? What does it really mean? Is that what you're really asking?
I think it's
You as in your evolution, in your journey, in everything. Everything yours.
Oh, I know. I knew what you meant. Well, it's still happening. How's that? It's definitely continual. It's been probably one of the most difficult things I've journeyed along in a while. Yeah, just trusting that I've got the answers, trusting that they're going to emerge, trusting that it's all going to be okay, and just letting and allowing that to happen. And then seeing what's on the other side, because that's the part, right? Back to one of our conversations around control. It's like to not control because I have no idea, right? So
But that's what surrender means.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. Believe me, it's the I'm not fully there, and I don't know that are you guys there fully?
Well, no, I think, again, it's layers, right? There are so many layers to it. And I remember when we first had this conversation, and it's coming up again, the first time I considered surrendering, the resistance to it, right? To surrender to myself, to surrender to another. Oh my God, I was warrior. Warriors do not surrender. It is, you get on the battlefield, you take everybody else out, and you walk away. That is what other people surrender. I don't surrender. So surrendering was a huge, huge process for me. And it's a continual. Even this past summer, when I had my mini meltdown, and as I threw myself back on my bed, what came, the word was surrender. Are you willing to surrender, to just let go, to release everything? And that's so hard.
If I can add maybe just what we all chatted about, even that little group that I did with the moon and the Venus and the cosmos, we're in this space of surrendering, right? So when we understand the spiral, which I know you know that you can talk about a lot, and we all understand it, but it's like to know that it's really heavy now, like heavy, it's really evident maybe, right? That it's there, it's asking us just surrender more, a little more, right? And there's some things beautifully, because I'm like, oh my God, like I'm learning so much that I wasn't willing to explore before or discover, right?
So I think that what makes it a challenge for most people is the fact that it comes in a dual. So surrender and trust always are asked for at the same time. Right? You can only surrender when you are willing to trust that whatever is being designed, whatever is in the divine plan, whatever is that you're attracting is actually going to work out for you. Absolutely. And I don't mean necessarily that it's a good thing.
I was just going to say that. Yes.
What I mean is that there is a purpose behind everything we experience in life. And in hindsight, I promise, you are going to find out what was good about that. What came out of it that made you better, bigger, that brought growth and knowledge about yourself, about the world. So, but the thing is, I noticed in my case, I was, I still am, but a very different vibration. But I was definitely the epitome, like the poster example of a warrior my whole life. So I hear you totally. And I think the pie of surrendering was given to me all at once and in a way that was actually more palatable than just willing, okay, I'll surrender. And you can't find the will inside of you to do it because there is a part of you that don't understand it. But I was fortunate enough that it was given to me in a way that I totally got it. And it was because I was working on gaining awareness of my own, my relationship with myself. And how was I vibrating regarding that? So the exercise was something like, what are you seeking in a relationship? What would you like to have in a relationship with somebody else? Let's say, like, most people gravitate to appreciation, love, respect, I mean, you name it, all those things that you want to do. The real question is, are you giving it to yourself? Because if you aren't, you're not getting it, period, right? And so I wanted to know, where was I? So let's take respect. And I said, okay, when I respect myself the least, what do I feel? And that is associated to a level of vibration. When I respect myself the most, how do I feel? And that could be the maximum energy vibration that you have regarding that aspect of your life. And that describes a loop in energy. We all live that way. Nobody vibrates at only one thing, right? So that's the loop. The thing is, the shift from the lower to the highest goes through the middle point, the shift point. So it's a loop like an infinite, right? Whatever that loop touches the other one, right in the middle, that's the vibration you should aim for, so that you actually get into the positive of the loop. And naturally, you're going to gravitate towards the higher vibration. Right. So it's easier to aim to the half.
Well, right. And so here's the thing. It's easy for us to say, I want to hear your journey through that. Because that's the, oh, here's it all tied up in a nice little bow, and I'm going to present it to you. No.
Exactly. And you know what? But I want to just interject very slightly, because that is really big and key for what we all do and what the world is moving towards. We have to share these journeys, because that's how people are really transforming, because you don't then become just a doctor who's telling us something, right? You don't become a communications coach who's just saying something, right?
So here is a part. So it's messy. It is, you are in the mud. You don't know. You can't see your hand in front of your face, kind of dark. It requires an intense, so it brings up an intensity inside of us. So let me talk to myself. It brought up such an intensity, because I carry intensity. You all, if you're in my world, I know you all carry, you both carry intensity. And anybody that's in my world carries intensity. And what surrender was for me was, it brought me to the door. Like, it was, intensity was right there. And it was, well, sister, are you going to relax into that and own it completely or not? And it's not always easy, and it's not always fun.
It isn't, which is, I give you the muddy part of this. At that time, I was single after 3 divorces. I was already 42 or 3, can't remember, around. So I was all over 40. And I had no idea. So I had learned that part of the things that I needed to heal was my need to be, my fear of being on my own, right? So I think at the time I had healed that. But then that's not enough. How do you manifest the relationship that you want, right? So when I did that exercise with the loops, I was searching for that answer. How do I get out of, how do I discover what a relationship is, a genuine relationship, right? So I had a motivation to go into it. Mm-hmm. And when I did this exercise, I did it regarding 5 aspects of a relationship. Respect was one of them. And what blew my mind out of the water was that the turning point, the shift energy point for absolutely every one of the 5 loops that had a different minimum and maximum, all of them, was exactly the same one. Trust and surrender. So it was like somebody was telling me, get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. You are, at that moment, it was like getting this message of you are on the right path. Just surrender to it.
Right. And I think what's really key for me as I'm listening to you, because, you know, I'm back to my words, right? And the vibration, our cultural conditioning around surrender, right? When you think of wars and fights, and, you know, the person that surrenders, it never ends well for the person. They never, you know, in terms of what, so inside of ourselves, when we hear the word surrender, our automatic reaction is hell no. Right? And that trust that you're talking about is so key, Yasmila, because that trust in myself, right? My whole journey has been about another layer and another layer and another layer of trusting myself. And that surrender of, oh, am I willing to trust the divine essence, the I am, the whatever it is that you want to call it, me, that knows what I don't know. And I had to reframe it inside of myself, because as long as I kept using the word surrender, there was resistance. So for me, for a while I used the words like invite and allow and to become, right? Because there wasn't that resistance inside of me. Now I could use the word surrender because it carries that vibration of I'm inviting something in, I'm allowing something in, and I trust myself.
The thing is, I'm hearing in the mind of a bunch of the people that are watching this now, the question of surrendering to what? So what, let's give them some answers.
So at the top of it, for me, it's surrendering to myself, really, because it's not about anything out here. It's always about what's in here. So that's my first thought. Donna?
That's my first thought, and I'm just going to tweak over to what you were both talking about, because even to what I'm part of the process of what I'm going through right now is in that space of wanting and creating this space to welcome a man back into my life, because I've, you know, been through a divorce and I've been single long enough and cleared a lot of all of that and really looked at it. And ironically, last night, one of the, well, not just last night, but I certainly delved a bit into it, was really around the word intimacy, right? And that intimacy into me, I see, right? So it's back to surrendering to, I already have it in me, everything that I want to give and to receive. Am I willing, right? So it's surrendering to me first. And then for me, it's the divine plan, whatever that means to someone else, right? Because we all come from those words and what resonates in that. But to know that there's something bigger that brought me here and wants me to see something and is taking me somewhere else. So for me, it's 2 pieces, right?
it's, and I love what you just said about, into me I see, right? And I can only be as intimate with another as I am with myself. As you were speaking, what came up for me was the when I manifest that thing, so let's say person, right, to be with another, they are the manifestation of where I stand inside of myself in terms of, so that giving and receiving, I give to myself, I receive to myself, and then I manifest someone who is the picture of that.
Yeah.
Right? I think.
Which for me makes it so beautiful that I haven't found anybody until this point, right? Because for me, it's like, it's not that I don't honor and respect my ex-husband and what I created, absolutely. But it's to have gone through this beautiful journey and other people in my life in its whole entirety to now say, wow, I have this opening that I'm welcoming to say, yeah, now you can see me because I'm ready to see you, right? But I had to be able to see me first, right? And be okay with, back to you were saying, Yasmilda, about being alone, isolation, these things around my own social stability, all of this stuff, right? Which are big. So I don't know, did that really answer what you were asking us, Yasmilda, or the people that are in the audience?
Of course. I mean, that's definitely part of the answer, right? Like, I'm going to link what you guys said, which I totally agree with something else that we bring the layers into the discussion, right? So surrendering the way probably the three of us are doing nowadays have nothing to do with the way we were doing it when we started our journey, right? So that's where the trust comes in. Because you never know, it's letting go of control. What we are talking about is letting go of the need of controlling, is letting go of the belief that if you do not control, then you don't, I mean, you lose, right?
Yeah.
You disengage from the process, right? And the thing is, once you learn, once you understand that your need of controlling is probably the thing that is muddying the waters, it is probably the thing that is bringing hardship, that is interfering with progress, all of those things. So you first needs to be humble. You first needs to understand that you don't have it all, the answers that in your consciousness, right? Your subconscious knows more, but your conscious is only 5% of what you think. And so it's recognizing that there is guidance to be had, that there is something outside of you that resonates inside of you that you need to surrender to.
Yes.
It's a higher knowledge, right?
Yes.
So because of that, we do achieve that, but by layers. It's like depending on the things you're experiencing, your circumstances, right? So at that first round that we all had, we probably, it was a short-lived kind of thing. It was something that we needed. I know that for myself. It was something I needed to remind myself of constantly.
And continues, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And what I want to add to what you were saying there, Isabella, is the not alone, right? When I started this journey, it was not something I did alone, right? I had people. I was in programs. I had a mentor. I had a few friends that I could talk to about these things, because to do it, it's too scary to try to do it alone. We can't take ourselves there alone. We need to have a posse, right? Because the things that go on in here, we should not be walking down those alleyways by ourselves.
Right? And it's so true, because I think that was the biggest thing for me, to be like, of course I can do this on my own. I don't need somebody, let alone a doctor, right? Because, well, so when I go back to one of the big things I healed, it was because 10 doctors wanted me to have a hysterectomy, and that was my whole big no. So after going after doctor, there was this whole blockage, and I'm like, I'm going to clear and heal myself in a different way, which I did get to a certain point, right? Because we can all get to a certain point. It's that next point, right? But then, right? But then that opens into that surrendering more to the vulnerability, to the aspect that, dear God, could somebody possibly understand me? Because I sure as hell haven't with anybody else that I've known, but because I was never willing to open up to myself, right? Let alone to another, right?
Yep.
You know, and one of the things I think keeps coming up for me is the both of you said it early on, and I totally get it, which is the whole warrior. The beauty is when we understand warrior, we are still that warrior. We're just not the fighter, right? We're the true essence of the warrior the more that we delve and totally understand how brilliant and beautiful we are, right?
Absolutely.
Totally.
It's not about getting rid of that.
So the whole journey always requires a mental shift because, well, Einstein, between a bunch of other guys, said it, right? Like you cannot solve a problem from the same mindset that created it. So because of that, we do need guidance. You do need a sounding board. You do need people. You do need a tribe. And that's the first trust, right? That's the first step, to open yourself up to guidance, to listen, to be willing to consider that you do not have all the perspectives and that there might be a different one from the one that you live in that moment that will help you move further, or away from your conflicts and whatever struggle you're going through. So yeah, that would be the first step.
Yeah, and your tribe isn't necessarily going to be the people who are already in your life.
No, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
this
That's part of the thinking.
I think this is a really important piece to it because, you know, they say, oh, okay, well, I have my best friend or I have my sister or I have my brother. These are often, not always, often I have found that the the willingness to surrender comes with actually engaging with people I don't know, right? Being in a group that they don't know who I am. They have no expectations of who I am. I get to unpackage all the stories I've been telling myself about who I think I am. And in that space, it becomes a little safer for me to be willing to go, oh, okay, maybe I'll give this a shot. Right?
Exactly.
And that, but also, so my sort of workaround for that, or the thought that I go through, is because a lot of times the people that are in our life helped me create that. So if I'm trying to vibrate out of that, I need to find other people that have worked on themselves and see themselves as more than what they are. So back to what we all do in the vibrational space, it's like, what's the next vibration? Because otherwise I keep in this pattern and I'm not reaching a little higher, that little step, that little more, which is right. And again, we often think it even has to be a physical person versus it could be the book, the, you know, overhearing a conversation in a coffee shop, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, listening to things like this,
Yeah.
which open you up for different,
Yeah.
you know, perspectives.
It doesn't mean we're letting go of the people who are in our lives. This is not what we're saying, right? No. What we're saying is sometimes we have to go outside of that closed loop circle that we've created for ourselves to find a different breath of air, to find a different perspective, right? And so that's all. And you're completely right. It's if you found this video and you're listening and you're still with us, woohoo!
Yeah.
Yay! Give yourself a pat on the back. You are opening yourself to the notion of, oh, maybe I'm willing, because I'm willing to listen to this, I might be willing to consider surrendering into something. And the question is, who do I have the potential to become if I consider being willing to surrender into whatever it is that you think that you need to surrender into?
Exactly. The whole process goes through letting go of control, of being willing to be wrong, right?
Yeah.
To be willing to listen, to open up your mind, to consider different things, and then trusting that what you're doing is going to bring you to a different level. It's going to bring you a new perspective. It's going to bring you a fresh bunch of air. Like it's a refreshing. It's a
Refreshing, yeah.
revitalization of the energy that you've been holding regarding something, right? And then surrendering to what that could bring you. What if? What if? Is to getting into the process with that kind of mentality. What if? What if I let go? What would happen? What may happen? And just allow that to find that out.
And it's like, what memory, what experience can I bring into my awareness of that? Right. So for me, it was remembering being in Trinidad in the ocean and just being in the water, laying on my back and, just floating in, yes, every now and then a wave would come. So that, okay, am I still going to be okay? But it was that I was willing to surrender to know that, oh, I can float on the water and I was okay. And as I kept that image inside of me as I was going through the process, so what image, what thing, what experience can you bring up as an invitation to go, oh, I did it here this way.
Right. Oh,
Right.
that for me, that brought back to me. There was this another layer, right? Like I wasn't right at the beginning, but it was another layer. Just reinventing my practice and trying to figure out how to do that and how to serve better the people that were already with me. And I went to this exercise, this class that was all about oils, essential oils, and what they do for you, what kind of things they recreate. And we did an exercise that was about having a meditation, like letting go, right? And with the intention of receiving an image or an emotion, and then to reproduce that with oils. One of the most interesting things I've done. The thing is that what I got as an image was all of a sudden I'm underwater and I realized that I am like one of those algae, right? Like these long green things, right? That float in the, and while I'm totally submerged. And what I'm getting is this motion. Is this that don't fight the waves, right? Like just go through them, like with them. It was like almost, I felt myself almost dancing, right? Under the water. And all of a sudden I realized that while I was doing that, I was growing, right? And with that motion, I felt myself getting out of the water. Beautiful. It was one of the things that have helped me the most when I had, you know, an episode of wanting to figure out or control an outcome. That had always helped me.
And for me, there's certain pieces of dance music that I can expand out of it, right? Like I can just be like, it's like I just can push all that away and just come into me. Yeah. So it's yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's something beautiful in finding what that is, right? I mean, there's other things, but that's when I'm like, okay, right, I can just let it go.
Right. And we all have that thing. Right?
Yes.
It's inviting ourselves to be in the space to find that thing that will be the invitation. And just as as I'm my head is now, okay, let's see, where have we been? Where am I right now? And, surrender, trust, invitation, willingness, right? My willingness to invite myself, to trust myself, to not know. And that vulnerability of not knowing, right? Because for those of us who carry warrior and I carried warrior in fight. I don't, like you were saying, Donna, I don't carry it the same way as I did then. And vulnerability, to discover that the beauty of strength in vulnerability, in being willing to show my belly. And sometimes it didn't turn out the way I thought it would turn out, and that was okay.
Yeah, there was a lesson there.
Absolutely.
There was something that needed to be learned.
Absolutely. And it came back to that trust, right? I got to refine my process of trusting myself.
There you go.
There you go. Love it. Wow. Another week, another little surrendering episode. Wow. Yes. So much. There's always so much in that word, right?
Oh, I know. We could talk about that for days.
Exactly. And if you feel like talking about it some more, then feel free to contact any of us or all of us, and then maybe we can have a session, right?
Leave comments. Leave us your comments.
Yes.
What came up for you? What did you say? Oh no, I don't agree with you. Or what did you say? Oh yeah, that resonated with you. Like there's so much.
Yes.
Much.
Yeah. It's all the process. Okay, girls.
So there you go.
For another
week. See you in 2 weeks. Have an amazing next 15 days.
Exactly.
Cosmic stuff going. And it's my birthday. So happy birthday.
Oh yes, soon it's coming. Soon. Really? You got in a week and a half, whatever. But yes, it's her birthday.
Within the 2 weeks. Within the 2 weeks.
Happy birthday. Okay, bye guys.